Oh man, I never get sick of that tune. Welcome to Ready Made Fantasy Football.
Woo!
I am your buddy Charlie. Myers here with my co-host, the guy who's got all the late breaking news. I mean, this guy never gets off Twitter. Do you ever close the Twitter app like totally? Like, when's the last time it's been? I know minimized is a stretch even, but closed out totally.
Listen to me, man. You got to understand, in this game, Adam Schefter, he has the crown right now. Ian Rappaport, I'm coming for that, man. I already passed Ian Rappaport for the second best NFL breaking news team. Everybody knows that. So, Schefter, I'm coming for you, Charlie. It's a dedication game, baby. No days off.
That's a tall order. You just updated me with the news. I guess we have some, if anybody who's been living under a rock doesn't know, the poop has hit the fan, as you could say. The Titans have new cases. The Patriots have cases. The Las Vegas Raiders got caught. I mean, if you want to call it caught, I don't know when you're posting something all over social media if you could still consider it being caught. But the Raiders decided that they were going to have a charity event. And by the way, Stephon Gilmore of the Patriots is the player, and he just had dinner with Patrick Mahomes. So 14-day incubation period, and this could add some trouble.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, I feel bad for the Raiders right now, but there's no bigger consequence from this whole COVID thing than the Titans. I mean, they've had almost 10 positive COVID cases, and the NFL's been scrambling to try to figure out what the schedule is going to be like. Well, of course, the legend himself, Adam Schefter, just tweeted out. So as a result of the COVID tests from the Tennessee Titans, this Sunday's game between the Buffalo Bills and the Tennessee Titans has now been moved from Sunday all the way to Tuesday. And also during this week, the Bills were supposed to be playing the Chiefs on Thursday Night Football, but now thanks to the change in the schedule, the Bills will be taking on the Chiefs on Sunday instead. So it'll be
wow.
So the Bills are really getting the short end of the stick here. I mean, two games within like 5 days of each other. It's definitely rough for them.
Wow. Well, if any team has the record to handle it right now, it's Buffalo. So, Josh Allen's been red hot. That defense, that team has just really been good. Although they almost lost the other week. I wouldn't forget that. Came down to the wire, but, he took them back down the field and they got it done. Tuesday Night Football. I'm not sure if I remember another Tuesday Night Football in history. I want to go back to like Hurricane Katrina. I think that was a Monday Night Football that got played in the Meadowlands when it should have been played in New Orleans. So, but that was, I believe, still on a Monday night. So this would be the first Tuesday Night Football game. Am I correct?
Yeah, this will be the first game for a while. I haven't been seeing anything
on a Tuesday though. Would this be the first ever Tuesday game?
Actually, no. Apparently, back in 1946, the New York Giants took on the Boston Yanks, who eventually became the New England Patriots, back at Braves Field in Boston. So that's pretty interesting.
Wow, yeah, that is pretty interesting.
The
Yanks who turned into the Patriots. Wow, that's kind of crazy. That is really kind of crazy. So I kind of got a little confession to make. I wasn't totally going to be devastated if the Titans didn't play this week, considering I'm playing Derrick Henry in every single league. And when I'm playing a player in every single league, he tends to blow the F up, to put it lightly. So now it's going to be a Tuesday night nationally televised game. Everybody's going to be watching it. And I'm sure Derrick Henry is just going to go OFF, and I'm going to be like, ding, dang it, So, we'll see what happens. He's not the killer that Aaron Jones is to me, though. Can we talk about this guy? I mean, when I have really terrible nightmares and I wake up and I'm in a sweat, those nightmares about Aaron Jones. because this guy has beaten me in so many fantasy football games, not to mention last year's championship, where he had a 57-yard run on Monday Night Football, which absolutely crushed my dreams. I don't think I could ever forget about that. But this guy, I mean, I went into last week's game, and I was up 21 points, and I knew it wasn't safe. And of course, he gets 24 points. And, losing by 3, I'd rather get blown out by 30, because at least you think maybe there's some positive regression. Your team crap the bed this week. Maybe they'll do really good. When you lose by 3 and you guys did all kind of pretty good and you wasted it, tough.
Nothing like the close There's nothing like the close defeats that really sting at you, man. I know one of the worst things is anytime it's within 10. Like last week, I was this close to winning, but then Todd Gurley somehow busted out 2 rushing touchdowns against the Packers, and that ended up costing me the win by 5 points.
Wow.
Dude.
Oh wow.
It's awful. I don't mind losing, but when it's from Todd Gurley with his glass knees somehow finding the end zone, what? Dude.
Yeah, well, he's been scoring a lot of touchdowns. I mean, he's touchdown dependent. He scores a lot of touchdowns. I mean, I think he's probably got 4 already, maybe 3. But he's been effective down in that area, and I feel like the only time he really tries is when he's down in that area, to be honest with you. So I'm not surprised Todd Gurley had a 1-2 touchdown game. He's definitely what I feel like is going to be a beginning of the year player this year. Whereas in years in the past, he's either been a all-year player or at the end of the year player. Because last year he was pretty good for a lot of people down the stretch who had him after he had a pretty terrible beginning to the season. I've never been a big Todd Gurley guy. I don't think I've ever owned him in any of my leagues, but he had his seasons. I think those are obviously behind him. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to see any kind of vintage Todd Gurley coming back, but players have done it. I mean, players have looked terrible one year and come back. I just don't think it's going to be what is he? You know what it is? He's not that old either.
Oh, yeah, he's 26 right now.
He's 26, but I mean, 28 you're done, but I like my running backs 25, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
And under.
Go younger with the running backs, dude. Less on the tires.
Yeah. He had a good run. They almost won it that year, and I think that's going to be all she wrote because I don't see Atlanta. I mean, you just can't be knocked down that many times. It's too devastating. So we'll see how they do this week. But it looks like the NFL figured out a way to get this done. But obviously all that's pending on no new positives with the COVID test.
Yeah, definitely. And especially after the Stephon Gilmore news, and then you see him hugging essentially to face the NFL right now, Patrick Mahomes, and especially after you move that Bills game to Thursday night, they always scramble to try to find viewers there. So now if Patrick Mahomes somehow has a positive COVID test, then Chiefs will lose him for 2 weeks, and that could be detrimental for their season as well. So a lot of people are paying the price right now for COVID, and even take a look at New England when Cam got positive too. We saw the disaster that was that game against on Monday against the Chiefs and the Patriots. I mean, Brian Hoyer looks completely lost, and then Jared Stidham, he did all right, but then Julian Edelman, did you see that interception after Edelman missed that catch? It was insane.
Well, you know what I think happened on that catch? I think Julian Edelman was running, and he was obviously covered. And he was probably thinking to himself, and he's used to playing with the GOAT, let's face it. He's probably thinking to himself, there's no way this guy's going to throw me this ball. I'm obviously covered. There's no chance to do anything with it. So I thought, when I first saw it, I go, wow, he really kind of wasn't expecting that in a way because he figured, wow, it was pretty obvious that, he had coverage right on him and not to throw him the ball. So, yeah, Tyrann Mathieu, though, what a beast. Oh, man, what a beast. That guy is just so damn good.
Honey Badger representing
the Honey Badger. Yeah, he is great. He is really great. But, what this COVID stuff is teaching us as far as fantasy football goes is you've got to be as deep as humanly possible. You know, you really can't trade away your depth. You got to keep the guys because you never know when you're going to have 2-3 guys. And it was easy to say that earlier in the season when it never really was happening, but now it's happening. You know, now 2-3 guys are going out, and it's what are you going to do? If you don't have depth, you're going to be rolling out whatever the hell you can get on the waiver wire, which in most of these leagues is absolutely nothing because, you know, they're so deep to prepare for COVID in the first place that so
yeah, you definitely got to make sure you have the depth in place for your rosters, especially that's why I always like to go running back, wide receiver heavy, just in case anything happens. I don't go more than 2 QBs for most of my teams because, again, trying to carry 3 QBs on one roster, that's just you're wasting up roster space. But especially now with all these reports coming in, you're right. It's never too it's always a good thing to be extra precautious, especially during times like this.
Absolutely. So, speaking of not trading away your depth, me and you just pulled off a little trade in our home league over here. Could go into this one. So, because I am such a saint, and I saw that a friend of mine was in devastating need, I traded one Mr. Mike Davis, okay, who's been averaging around 18 to 20 points a game. Granted, we don't know how many weeks he has left. Could be. I absolutely would be totally in shock if it was just this week. And I'll tell you why. Why would it be just this week? Christian McCaffrey's obviously not ready to go. There's no point in rushing him back. They're doing just fine. And if we've learned anything with Saquon Barkley is, even if you bring him back, he's not going to be 100% for a while. So if this is your franchise running back, why would you bring him back after 1 week? Why? Because he says he's ready because he wants to play? It would be ignorant on their behalf. I would imagine it's going to be 2 weeks minimum.
2 weeks until McCaffrey comes back?
Minimum.
I'm going longer. Wait, first of all, by the way, thank you again for saving me this week. Oh, Charlie the generous. Oh, Charlie the wise. Oh, Charlie the giving. Always there for a buddy in need.
So let's finish up talking up the trade. We'll talk up what the trade is. The trade is I gave up Mr. Mike Davis. Okay. I gave you J.K. Dobbins.
Yes.
You gave me a out till November, like Wycliffe says, gone till November. Nick Chubb, okay, and a Mr. DeAndre Swift. So now go ahead with what you think about Mike Davis. The trade is completed. There's no turning back now. How long is Mike Davis going to play?
Listen, the way I see it, you were hitting the nail on the head talking about Christian McCaffrey. The Carolina Panthers cannot afford for anything to happen to Christian McCaffrey, especially with the running back market we've saw. All these quality running backs getting paid these big contracts, and then injuries happen. One of the worst things you can do is try to give a big contract to a running back, especially because it's one of the most physically demanding positions in the game because, again, players tend to wear down. So with the Panthers taking the cautious approach, Mike Davis has done great thus far. I mean, he's really, especially in this new Panthers offense, he's really hit the nail. He's really hit the ground running with it. I mean, 131 yards this year, rushing touchdown, 20, and even been effective in the passing game with 21 receptions. So this guy is going to be effective on both ends. And then even with J.K. Dobbins, I'll go more into my problems with Ravens running backs, but I've loved J.K. Dobbins in college. I think that towards the middle of the season, we're going to see J.K. really lead the Ravens running back committees with carries. So I like it. But I do like the fact that you also got DeAndre Swift there, somebody who's been also making an impact in the passing game for Detroit. Not really getting much of the carries, but, dude, with Nick Chubb, when he's healthy, you're going to get points. So it's a win-win for both of us, I think.
So here's part of this is what I looked at, and I'll just give you an idea of when, because I approached you with this trade, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You had Joe Mixon and your other starter, Joe Mixon, who is in jeopardy of not playing now. We'll talk about that in a little while, but Joe Mixon and Patrick Lindsay. So when I saw that, I said, oh, this guy definitely needs a second running back. He's 2-2. He's on the fringe. Team looks pretty solid. I know that Mike Davis is a rental car. I know that I have more than enough running back depth right now to get me through. I've got like 8 running backs. I tried to pick up another one. They wouldn't even let me. Okay. So I said, let me trade my depth, in a running back and get back somebody because look, I feel like Nick Chubb, I don't know why. I mean, I don't think I think he's going to be out 5 weeks tops. And that's a big chunk. It really is a big chunk. But there's no surgery. So it's kind of like, what if this guy's just, one of those guys like Adrian Peterson who just heals and he's just good, I took a chance. I took the opportunity to say, this guy needs some help right now. What is he going to do with Nick Chubb on his bench, on his IR spot when he's starting Phillip Lindsay? You know what I mean? So now you have Mike Davis, J.K. Dobbins, and Swift. It's kind of a swap, an even lateral. I'll tell you why I did that. I wanted Swift rather than Dobbins because I have Swift in a lot of other places, and I'm kind of an all or nothing kind of guy. And to me, like, I'd rather have Swift blowing up in all of my leagues than Dobbins blowing up in one of my leagues. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's just kind of how I am. And I also looked at the competition in the backfield. I mean, Lamar takes away carries. Ingram, he's not hurt yet. He's still playing. And then you got Gus Edwards. So Dobbins does have a little bit more of a mountain to climb, in my opinion, than Swift. Swift's got Adrian Peterson, and Kerryon Johnson is whatever. So, and that's more than fair to get Swift for Dobbins. It's maybe a slight upgrade. Watch for this week Ingram will go out and go down, and Gus Edwards will sprain his ankle, and Dobbins will get 28 carries for 240 yards and 3 TDs. But it was worth it. I kind of wanted to own Chubb, and I guess if I have to own him on the IR. My thing, though, is this. If I don't make the playoffs, this was a stupid trade.
Playoffs? Playoffs? You're talking about the playoffs?
I know.
Playoffs.
I know.
I had to throw a little Jim Mora.
So, speaking of, DJ Mixon is questionable now. I mean, Joe Mixon is questionable now. This is something that I just caught on to recently. Was added to the Week 5 injury report, being listed as limited in practice with a shin injury. I don't think that's anything to worry about.
No, yeah. I think that he's going to be playing Sunday, especially an important game like against the Ravens. He's going to want to try to get as much yards as possible, but again, that Ravens defense, it's going to be tough to try to get yards there.
So you're starting Carson Wentz against Pittsburgh, Joe Mixon against Baltimore, Mike Davis, you're welcome, against Atlanta. That's a great matchup. He is your number 1 projected running back this week, by the way.
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett with 14. Calvin Ridley is a little banged up with a projected for another 14. Tyler Higbee, okay, he's due for a big game. Slayton against Dallas. Woof, that is going to be delicious. Hill,
get those yards, baby.
Hill is, everything Gurley is not, all that other stuff. And you are starting a Mr. Scotty Miller. And I got to be honest with you. I'm teetering on the line right now. So I've got Tom Brady. Tom Brady going tonight against Chicago. Do I love it? But do I want to sit Tom Brady on a nationally televised game on a Thursday night that I'm going to be sitting and watching? Probably not. So my other option is to drop Tom Brady.
Wow, okay.
And pick up Herbert, which I don't think I'm going to do. It might be a good move in theory, but it just doesn't sound right. I'm not trying to get too cute.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to play Tom Brady. I got Zeke, Jonathan Taylor, Jefferson. Now, Waller, I have Mike Davis in this league, and I have Tim Patrick. Okay? Now, I'm curious. I'm wondering. I'm really wondering, with Stephon Gilmore out against New England, Patrick has a juicy matchup. Jefferson against Seattle has a juicy matchup. Mike Davis has a juicy matchup. Can't sit Jonathan Taylor. Can't sit Ezekiel Elliott. But I got Mr. Scotty Miller sitting on my bench in this league. And I kind of want to juice him in, throw him in, but I can't take it. Who could I take out? I mean, what are you going to take out, Mike Davis? You're going to take out Patrick Stephon Gilmore's already down. So look, they're playing Belichick.
They're playing Belichick, and also Drew Lock could come back for this game for Denver this week.
He's not going to, no way. One more week at least with him. I would say longer. He's only throwing. He's limited in practice. And that's good news because not for nothing, Rippon threw the ball to Patrick like every freaking time last week. So
yeah. It literally his favorite target against the Jets, man. It was brutal.
And now no Gilmore, okay? So now the New England defense is weakened, and you got Patrick. Now, who does Belichick take out in this game? That's the question. That is the question. Who does he take out in this game?
I mean, I think for right now, especially with Noah Fant.
Noah Fant's banged up.
Yeah, he's not going to be either. So I think right now he's going to really try to focus against the run with this Denver team. I think because especially with Lindsey coming back, I think Denver's going to want to be focused a little bit more on.
So it's Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, with Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsay coming back. So I don't think that we're going to see Brett Rippon sling it like he did against the Jets last week, but I think that if Denver wants to try to get something done, they're really going to have to try to fight pressure from the interior defensive line and get the running game going.
I have Scotty Miller starting in one of my leagues, one of my deep leagues. Okay, maybe I can get enough juice off of that. In this league that I'm not going to start Scotty Miller, I have Tom Brady going. So maybe that's a sign that it's better I just leave. I have a little bit of action in the first one, a little bit of action in the second one. Third league, doesn't look like I got anybody. I don't even have Scotty Miller. I do have Mr. Damian Harris, who we could talk about a little later, who looked awesome, who I have in almost every one of my leagues. Scotty Miller, no. And the last one, I do have Scotty Miller. And I haven't yet, but there's no way I could play him. And you're going to play Scotty Miller over DK Metcalf, Tyler Boyd, or DJ Moore? I don't think so.
Hell no. Even with Chris Godwin out today for the Buccaneers, you can't, especially with Metcalf, no way.
So I'm going to dip my beak in it, and I'm going to leave him. I'm going to have him in one of my leagues. I'm going to have Tom Brady in two of my leagues. And that's how we're going to roll into tonight. And if Tom Brady throws a pass to Scotty Miller, well, then that's wonderful because I'll get the points for Tom Brady. And if he gets one, then I'll get the points that I have it And I'm not going to hate that I have him on my bench and he scored a touchdown because I tell you what, I don't know if he's going to score a touchdown, but I think Gronkowski is definitely going to score a touchdown.
Oh, yeah. Gronk's going to find the end zone today, especially with O.J. Howard out. I think that Arians is going to try to really spread the ball out with the passing game. So you got to try to attack this Bears secondary like we've seen for most of the season. I mean, they haven't won. Again, they've been 3-1, but Bruce Arians, this offense with the weapons they have, they're going to make the Bears secondary work today.
You know who else I think is going to have a touchdown?
Who?
Jimmy Graham.
Oh, my God.
Jimmy Graham.
Well, bam, Jimmy Graham, baby.
He's going to have one.
That
it right now.
And that actually
Gronk will have a touchdown. It's going to be battle of the grandpa tight ends today. It's going to be old man Gronk versus old man Graham in a who could score the most 6-yard touchdown jump ball side of the end zones tonight. Because that's what you do with Jimmy Graham. You get him lined up outside a defensive back and you throw it up. And Gronk, Gronk's he's got a little bit more, I guess, juice is from a distance, but still, same type of thing down the end zone area with him. So I look for both of those guys to score a touchdown tonight. Am I starting either one of those guys? Absolutely not. But do I see a touchdown? Yes. Yes, I do. I do. I also see this guy, Mr. Damian Harris, the other night. How did he look? Did you see the game? Whoa, did he look good?
Yeah, man. I mean, he's been my favorite out of the, again, Patriots running backs committee. Like, Rex Burkhead will always be my dude, but Damian Harris is showing why he was one of the better running backs for Nick Saban in Alabama, and it's just it's refreshing to see him off the IR. What was he injured from?
So he had a busted finger.
Oof.
Yeah, and he probably, well, I guess I'm not sure if they would have activated him or not, but when Sony Michel went on the IR, that was it. They activated him.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't get a lot of carries, but he made the most of it. I mean, the guy had 100 yards on like 17 carries or something like that. So not bad at all, really not bad at all. And I was able to take advantage of a couple of quarterback swaps. So we'll get to your guy in a minute, but I kind of smelled blood in the water in a really deep 2-quarterback league where you could carry as many QBs as you want. And I decided that I was going to try the studs and duds method this year as almost an experiment to see if I could spend all or most of my money on 2 stud players, how it would work out. Now, granted, this wasn't the way I would normally do it because I did have keepers from previous years, so it wasn't totally that. But the budget I did have, I spent almost entirely on Saquon and Zeke, okay?
Right.
And what I'm actually finding is that it really it didn't work out because Saquon got hurt. Okay, and maybe that could happen however many times. I don't know how many times that happens, but I was able to build my team up even though I had like nothing. So I had absolutely no money, nothing left. I had Justin Herbert, who was a backup. I picked up Mike Davis, who was a backup. You know what I'm saying? And Christian McCaffrey gets hurt, I'm able to turn Mike Davis into Joe Mixon. I have, what was the other one that ended up working out for me? Oh, Malcolm Brown, another one. Guy I had just picked up, just had him as a backup type thing just in case he kind of hit. Recently smelled blood in the water with Dwayne Haskins, picked up Kyle Allen, okay?
Okay.
Pick up Kyle Allen for $1. Dwayne Haskins gets benched, This guy's other quarterback is Cam Newton. This is a 2-quarterback league where the quarterbacks could score 50 to 75 points easy in a week. So he already is down Cam Newton. Now Dwayne Haskins is benched. So I trade him Kyle Allen in some sweetheart deal for me and pick up Antonio Gibson and Jefferson.
Okay, all right.
So, and Kyle Allen's, all right. And then what do I do? What do I do after I trade him Kyle Allen?
What'd you do?
I pick up Alex Smith.
Oh, man, Alex.
And that's how you got to play this game. You got to be one step ahead. You got to be thinking about what could be happening, what the rules are of the league, and hey, this is what this guy is going to need based on me looking at his roster. You know what I mean? When I looked at your roster, I saw he needs a rental for a couple of weeks and for a running back. When I when I saw this guy's roster, I said he has no quarterbacks, and he's going to be willing to give me almost anything because even a guy like Joe Mixon, who could get him 30 points one week, still is getting him 20 less points than Kyle Allen. By the way, I also made him throw in Tua Tagovailoa because I didn't want to lose my quarterback depth. Like, I'm okay. I have Herbert, who, God bless, panned out because of a shot in the chest. Mm-hmm. And then I had Goff, who I drafted. And, you don't want to lose your depth at quarterback with this COVID stuff, but I picked up Alex Smith. I picked up Blake Bortles, okay? And then I get him to throw in Tua Tagovailoa because Tua is 2 weeks away from playing. This next game, Fitzpatrick, Miami's going to lose. It's going to be a tough game. I think they're playing against the Niners. And after that, it's going to be Tua time. And by then, I'll have everything back. I picked up Bortles because Locke is hurt. Rippon is just whatever. If Locke comes in, gets re-injured, if Rippon isn't cutting it because he doesn't really have great arm strength, stranger things have happened. The only reason why Blake Bortles wasn't playing already was because he was only 2 weeks in and didn't have any practice under his belt.
Oh, yeah.
So, is it that crazy that we would see Blake Bortles starting for the Broncos? I don't think so.
Yeah, man. I mean, that is a fair point about Blake Bortles. I mean, I liked what Brett Rippon did a little bit against the Jets, but I think that going with more of the going the veteran quarterback route till Locke comes back is good. And yeah, so the Dolphins.
Are you saying that because Sam Darnold just got benched for Joe Flacco in a desperate attempt to save Crazy Eyes' job?
Look at me. I will have no Sam Darnold slander on this program. I am a professional, but you're pushing my buttons, Charlie. You're pushing my buttons.
I know. I'm telling you. What do you think about that?
Man, listen.
Why do that?
Oh, yeah. You want to keep pushing my buttons? You want to keep going?
No, but I'm asking, why would they do that? I don't understand why would that would even make sense. I guess he's just like, I got to make a change. Maybe I could win some games to save my job.
Because on Thursday, I forgot who it was. When you watch the Sam Darnold touchdown, I think it was 47 or 40-something yard touchdown run, he juked out one of the players in the Broncos. Then the next drive, he threw Sam literally on his shoulder, so he's nursing a shoulder sprain.
Oh, okay.
I didn't agree with trying to bring it back after you already had Flacco. Plus, they brought him back mid-drive with Joe Flacco, so already that's confusing. It's just I think that they want to try to protect him, but I think they want to try to also see, okay, maybe it is all Sam if they somehow pull a miracle win off against the Cardinals, which everybody highly doubts. By the way, anybody with Cardinals players, get Kyler Murray, Kenyon Drake, DeAndre Hopkins, start them all against the Jets because they are going to give you mad points against this poor secondary. Anyway, it's because I think right now, since the Jets are flirting with the first overall pick, they're trying to see how much of the problems are Gase related and how much is it with Sam. So if they're going with if they're going to try to tank, they're going to try to go for the first overall pick and push for Trevor Lawrence. They want to see how much they can really squeeze out of Sam and see if he's the guy or not, which I get, but it's just a really awkward timing for all of this.
It's very strange, and yeah, well, I guess we will see what happens. Couple other guys I want to talk about this going into tonight. Last week, this young rookie Vaughn on Tampa was looking pretty darn good. He had a go-ahead touchdown run though with his shoulder. Had an amazing catch. I saw unbelievable catch. Rojo's going to be playing, but I'll tell you what, it only takes a couple of snaps, in my opinion, to see that this guy Vaughn is way better than Rojo. So I'm really interested to see how they split up the snaps, and I guess we'll see if he passes the eye test, because to me he looks a lot better than Rojo, and I know that Fournette's in the mix, but he's obviously injured. He's not going to be playing tonight. But
he's active right now.
Oh yeah,
Leonard Fournette's active for this game tonight for Tampa Bay.
Wow, when did that break? That's recent.
Yeah,
he was questionable at best.
Yeah, it was only injury. Like 10 minutes ago. So no worries.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens with this split, but I don't know. I still like Vaughn. I like him as he looked the most dynamic. I guess this is going to kind of be a sore spot for him that Fournette's here, but I would have liked to have seen him, go at it tonight. Also, other than the Scotty Miller, okay, you got Mike Evans. We all know what he is. Is there anyone else? Does Cameron Brate get a touchdown tonight? Okay, would I be totally shocked if that happened? I wouldn't. Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady's going to have 276 yards tonight and 3 touchdowns.
Fair prediction.
That's what I think he's going to have.
I think for me, if I had to go for Brady, I say 321 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and maybe a pick. I feel like Eddie Jackson might catch him. I think because again, he had that pick 6 last week against the Chargers. I just feel like Eddie Jackson might be able to sniff out something from old man Brady. Try to get won't take one to the house, but I feel like there could be 1 or 2 turnovers from touchdown Tommy. It is the Monsters of the Midway, of course, though.
Yeah, I mean the defense looks good. Those paid a lot of money though to not get as many sacks as you would think from Mac and.
Oh, definitely.
They who else did they pay over there?
They gave Robert Quinn a 5-year deal.
A lot of money. Doesn't have a sack, I don't think. I think he had a strip fumble in the first play of the game, like week 1, if I remember correctly, and he hasn't done anything since. So that second round, that quarterback they drafted in the second round,
Jalen Johnson, yeah.
Wow, he is panning out, man. He's looking really, really good. So it's going to be tough for Tom. I am starting him in 2 leagues, starting Scotty in 1. So it's going to be a very interesting game. I like the Tampa Bay Bucks to win. I think the score is going to be something like 26 to maybe even 10 or I don't know. I don't see where the offense is really going to come from. I could see Jimmy Graham getting a touchdown, but Singletary, I feel like it will have somewhat of a okay game, but this defense is very stout, in Tampa. And it's just, I don't know. Foles, I feel like he really plays well when he's sitting the first 2 quarters of the game and you bring him in at the end, he's a superstar. But if you start him, he's all right. he's okay. He's serviceable. So my suggestion for the Bears would be to put Trubisky out there for the first drive, snatch him out no matter how good he does, put Foles in and see how it materializes. Because maybe there's some weird juju over there.
I can definitely see them trying to at least flirt with the idea of bringing Mitch in, but I think
I'm totally kidding. They would never do that.
No, but I think with Big Trick Nick, this Bears offense, it definitely hasn't hit the same. I think the thing is, I like Nick Foles in this matchup. Yes, it's a tough Tampa team. Not that they're going to win, but I think that he will be able to find the end zone at least once or twice. I think the pass rush from this Tampa team is going to definitely put him on his heels, but there's still some holes in that Buccaneers secondary that I'm not really confident in. So I think that if he picks his spots and Allen Robinson's able to create some separation, I think they could find the end zone. But regardless, this is just a superior Tampa Bay team. I can't see it being anything more than like 35-10 for Tampa Bay tonight.
35-10 Tampa Bay. You heard it from Mr. Michael Zimmelman first.
Oh.
I've got it a little bit closer. 26. I'm gonna go with 26-10. And I'm gonna call a Jimmy Graham and Robert Gronkowski touchdown tonight. Battle of the old man tight ends. So we know that the game is going to be now rescheduled. We know we're going to have Tuesday football. We're going to have Monday football. We're going to have Sunday football. I'm going to have one angry girlfriend is what I'm going to have because that is a lot of attention diverted elsewhere. But I'll be definitely.
Listen, man, no one said it's easy. It's a grind. We sacrifice our time away from our families and stuff, but it's the season. We got to show out for our boys.
Listen, I put 2 TVs in the living room so we could have more quality time, okay? And I think that's about all I could do. I got to watch the games, and, we worked it out, though, and everything's going great. What else you got for me, Mike?
Well, Charlie, I think that with fantasy football podcasts, everybody wants to try to get a little bit of information, and there's some people out there who have some questions for us. So I was able to take some questions.
Oh, nice.
So let's start this off. We got a Broncos super fan, Order in the Cortland, for shout out Cortland Sutton. Hope you get better. Bro, in need of a flex, Mo Alley Cox, Jerick McKinnon, or T. Higgins. Out of those 3, who do you like, Charlie?
Okay, Mo Alley Cox is an absolute is a no for me. So that's going to leave it between T. Higgins and who?
Jerick McKinnon from the 49ers.
So with Jerick McKinnon, you have I don't know. I don't see Raheem Mostert coming back this week. Even if he does, I'm going to go with Jerick McKinnon. Very difficult. I love T. Higgins. If Mostert doesn't go absolutely 100%, it's Mostert. But I think it's even it's even McKinnon. I think it's even McKinnon if he does go. So.
Yeah, I got to agree with you on McKinnon. Normally, I've been a big fan of T. Higgins. I like the combination of him and Joe Burrow. I think that with the Bengals losing their tight end, Umuza, or whatever his name is.
Uzomah. CJ Uzomah. Yeah.
CJ Uzomah. Well, Uzomah is a no-mo, but I think that Joe Burrow is going to really find T. Higgins in the red zone a lot for targets, but against this Baltimore defense, you're better off riding it with Jerick McKinnon, I think.
Awesome. Yeah, that's where I'm at. What else you got?
This next question is from Last Word KG, and he's also in a QB 2 QB league. He says, in need of a QB2, Fitzpatrick or Mullins, kill me. Wow.
In need of a QB2. Okay, so definitely 100% Fitzpatrick. I'm a big
Without question.
Fitzmagic guy. I believe Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be playing this week, so that would make his choice easy. But even if he's not, even against a tough defense, I got to go with Fitzmagic on that.
Yeah, same. I mean, the way Nick Mullins, played against that Eagles defense last week, you can't really trust him with it. And Fitzpatrick, yes, you get the two sides of the coin, either Fitztragic or Fitzmagic. But the way I see it, especially with the Dolphins playing against the 49ers this week, so I think they should be able to have an easier time scoring. So I'm going with Fitzmagic. And last one, this is from Ravens superfan, Play Action Jackson. Bruh, should I drop Mark Ingram? Hashtag disappointment. I mean,
and my answer to that is a emphatic no. Mark Ingram is a hold for now. We're going to give him a couple more weeks. We're going to see what materializes. But honestly, Mark Ingram, I don't think it's cut time yet. Let's give him another week. Let's see how it goes, and we'll revisit them.
Here's my problem with that. I personally as a Mark Ingram owner for fantasy, I didn't expect the Greg Roman to really go with a running back committee this year. I thought he was just trying to say that to divert attention. But, I mean, you take a look at Mark Ingram when he's had his carries the last 4 weeks. Week 1, 10 carries for only 29 yards, no touchdowns. Week 2, 9 carries for 55 yards, 1 touchdown. Week 3, 7 carries for 30 yards. And last week against an not overrated, but just a problematic Washington football team, only 8 carries for 34 yards, no touchdowns. I mean, against Washington, Mark Ingram can't find the end zone there. I mean, granted, with the amount that Lamar Jackson runs and the sharing with Gus Edwards and, of course, J.K. Dobbins, I agree it's too early to drop him, but I just can't see him starting. Again, in my opinion, he's a touchdown-dependent flex at this point.
Don't start him. But with bye weeks coming up and COVID, I don't know who you want to drop him for, but I'm holding him another week.
Yeah, I mean, I really can't see that too many running back options right now. I wish he would have included at least his other choices, but I think maybe you can try Joshua Kelly for the Chargers with Austin Eckler out. It's a tough matchup against the Saints defense, but, I think with Justin Herbert really coming into his own, they might try to get a little more going on the ground. But other than that, I'm trying to draw a blank right now.
Well, I feel like this week and with those weeks coming up, you want to have the depth. Keep Ingram. Who are you going to drop him for? If you have somebody great, am I dropping, let me just name a couple of people that are available possibly. Am I dropping him for Justin Jackson? I'm not. Am I dropping him for Keyshawn Vaughn? I'm not. Am I dropping him for Dearness Johnson? I'm not. Am I dropping him for Alexander Madison? I'm not. Am I dropping him for any of these guys? I'm not dropping him for. And everybody else is probably – am I dropping him for Malcolm Brown? I'm not. So those are the best names I've seen in my 5 leagues. You might have somebody better. I mean, if you tell me – Charlie, somebody who's middle of the pack that could even possibly be available, not top 10. A guy
I guess maybe Phillip Lindsay.
I mean, Kenyon Drake. Let's say somebody panic dropped Kenyon Drake. Would I drop Ingram for Kenyon Drake? Probably would. You know what I'm saying? Would I drop Ingram for who else have I seen? Panic dropped. I don't know. Not a whole heck of a lot of guys that I've seen available in the last couple of weeks. I'm going to drop Mark Ingram for. So give him another week, see how it pans out, and go from there. That's my advice. That's what I would do. That's
And I
what I would
think
do.
that's a smart bet. I mean, again, who knows? Maybe he could go off one of these weeks and just end up getting 21 carries. Gus Edwards has a slow week at practice, or J.K. Dobbins does something stupid to piss off, what's his name, Greg Roman. It's just so volatile, especially because of how they've distributed like the carries too. Because one week Ingram's leads with 10, then you see Dobbins have 12, and then Gus Edwards surprisingly, I think he had like 14 carries last week too.
He's been touching the ball more than anybody cares for him to be touching the ball. So I got to remember this though. Each one of those guys is only one injury away from fantasy fireworks. So keep that definitely in mind. So that's great. We had a great show today. Any other questions? Anything else you want to say? We got a football game coming up. I'm pumped up. I need some potato chips and a nice tasty beverage. What about you, Mikey?
Oh, dude, I'm looking forward to this Bears-Bucks game. I already got some steaks going on the grill outside. We're going to get some beers. We're going to just try to kick back and relax for Friday night. And also, if anybody wants to send us questions to answer on the show, please feel free to reach out to me and Charlie. You can find me on Twitter at @nzimmel. For more information, we'll try to help you out. Charlie, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Uncle Charlie Comedy. You could find me on Facebook, Charles Myers, and you could ask me any questions you want. If you need a little bit of advice, I am not always right, but yeah, hey, listen, beggars can't be choosers. I'll tell you what I'll do, and my record stands for itself. I'm pretty happy with my decisions on a weekly basis, so maybe you'll be too. So. Sounds great. Looking forward to the game tonight. You're going to wrap me up one of those steaks in the doggy bag, or how are we going to do this?
Don't worry, man. Listen, at Zimmelman, at Shea Zim, we always deliver fresh delivery. We always deliver it right fresh to you. So we'll get you a steak. What do you want? Some garlic potatoes, too, some asparagus, a nice glass of vino. We treat you right. That'll be $75. No cash.
Sounds great. Awesome, man. So I'm looking forward to it. Next week we'll be back again, and happy football.
Peace out, everybody. We'll see you next week. Later.
Have a good one, Mike.